I was coming from school. My mom said we must wait near the streets at Avoca Hills. So we waited that day. While we were waiting, there's this guy who came and he approached us. He asked our names and he searched us. Said he wanted the cell phones. This guy pointed me with a gun and said I must go with him. He said I must take out my clothes, and he started raping me without a condom. Raped me and raped me. They took me to the hospital. I went to the hospital, they tested me, they cleaned me, and they said I must come after 6 weeks to see if I was HIV positive.
In 2009, an estimated 5.6 million people were living with HIV and AIDS in South Africa, a country which has some of the highest rates of HIV and AIDS in the world. Despite some improvements in awareness and treatment over the last few years, there are still many problems to be addressed. Gold Peer Education is one of the organisations tackling the issue of HIV and AIDS. Working in high schools across South Africa, Gold equips students to address the root causes of HIV and to raise awareness in their communities. Sia Bonga is one of Gold's dedicated program managers, fighting to reduce the stigma surrounding the disease.
I think it's one of the root causes of HIV and AIDS, stigma itself. I guess it goes back to people that they're not educated about HIV. They're not really aware what is HIV. And with our black communities, you find that due to the fact that HIV is mostly related to sexual activity, and with our culture, talking about sex is not something that you can openly talk about, which makes it very hard to openly again talk about HIV, because if I'm talking about HIV, I have to openly talk about sex. So stigma is quite a lot, and especially in the community that we work with, it's still quite a high thing.
Dr. Hussein has worked on HIV prevention and treatment programs for many years and is an expert in the field.
When HIV came in this country, there was no treatment. So people say, okay, if I got HIV, another way, other way, I'm going to die. Why I must tell everyone?
Bayesaba abantu kuyotest ukuthi bayicheck ukuthi empilweni yabo kuhamba kanjani, ngoba omunye wesaba ukuthi uma esazi ukuthi HIV positive, omunye ugcina ephathwe stress, omunye abe novalo lokuthi usezokufa uma esetholile ukuthi HIV positive.
The most common reason here is not to come for the test, because people start talking. They think they are talking about you, that you got HIV, that one got HIV, so they don't want to come here.
Zama was one of the people who initially did not want to be tested, and she did not go back to the hospital after 6 weeks for the HIV test. It was not until sometime after the events of June 2008 that she decided to find out her status.
There was a guy who came at school called Spiwe Tandazani Sbia. He came to encourage youth, the learners, the students to go and test for HIV. Well, we then went to test it with my friend. There was a queue, people waiting to get tested. And I was so nervous. I was saying, oh my God, what if I find out? But in my mind, I really didn't think that I might be HIV positive. My turn came and the nurse called. Yeah, I sat on a bench. Oh my God, I was so nervous. She was canceling me, telling me that it's not the end of the world if there are two things of blood. And oh my God, I I saw there's two bloods. I was so... It just became so black. It was so dark outside when I found out that I was like that. I didn't cry, and I didn't want to cry. I wasn't feel like crying. I just couldn't believe.
Many people diagnosed with HIV do not want to disclose their status to anyone for fear of stigma and discrimination. So, Zama would face many challenges if she decided to disclose.